My postcard today is from the old government house St Peter Port in the parish of St Peter Port on the island of Guernsey. Well, we have a building here of outstanding Guernsey British heritage.
Yes, indeed.
The old government house. What's the story behind this very impressive building?
Okay, well, the building that's actually there above the glass centenary bar, that is the original old government house, which was acquired for the governors of Guernsey in the mid-18th century. And then they moved out of town basically in the middle of the 19th century. So this became a hotel in 1857. And during the period 1857 to the end of the 19th century, this extension was put on here, and there's actually a mark up on the top under one of the middle chimney.
I can see
1887
Yes.
is when that part was completed. But that door that we can barely see through the glass there into the library lounge, that is the original front door of the old government house.
So the back door now, it was the front door
The back door
then?
now was the front, and the horse and carriages would have come up over that road, come round here, turned here and back into the road, because all of this level that's now the swimming pool dug out was completely flat and just grass lawn leading down to the views here over the other islands.
Well, that's incredible. So obviously in front of us, these rather unattractive buildings in front would obviously not have been there.
These low-level offices are at that level quite deliberately. It's a restriction the states put on building. When this was built, they were not allowed to build above our land level here, so that our bedrooms and everyone looking that way has got a clear unobstructed view over these offices.
It's a beautiful view over to the other islands and across the channel towards the UK. The governorship, therefore, of Guernsey, tell us a little bit about that. I've never actually heard of the term Lieutenant Governor.
Yes.
What does it actually mean?
It's technically an appointee of the Crown, and he is the leading official on behalf of the UK government and the Queen here on the islands, because we are technically a Crown dependency, which means we have our own independent local government and we decide all our own affairs like tax, having which type of tax, no VAT, no inheritance tax, but we have income tax at a flat rate of 20%. These sort of internal policy decisions are made here with our own government. Foreign policy, armies to protect us, that's the British government.
So there's been a lot of history around this building. But what about recent history, more modern history? Has it had a part to play in Guernsey's heritage?
Oh yes, indeed. I mean, we had as you know, and as your viewers will know, the Channel Islands were occupied by the Germans during the Second World War, right up until 1945. It was a very tough time for the island, but from the history of this hotel, this was the German High Command headquarters for the island. They commandeered the whole hotel. As far as we can tell, all the senior officers stayed here, and we've got some very interesting tunnels and dungeon-like things underneath. I've often wondered what happened to Guernsey citizens who fell foul of the authorities. Were they imprisoned down here? I've no idea. We've been trying to find out, and it's been quite difficult. Maybe we'll get access now that they've released all these records in Germany. We can look at the actual German records and see if we can find out what happened. A little bit of snippet of history here, and it's difficult to know the exact date, but in our library lounge there is a sort of oval window, which in a place like Bermuda might be called a love arch or something like that. But here, that arch is actually constituted by a door and frame that was in the old SS Mauritania.
Really?
When it was, as far as we can gather, it was when it was refitted in Southampton in 1928. They gutted the whole part of the ship there at that point in time and rebuilt it and then scrapped it ultimately in 1935. But they took out a lot of the interior, and somebody who was around at that time had the wisdom to buy that and see a way to fit it in here.